Have you ever found yourself struggling with your homeschool and you're not quite sure how to turn it around or what you can do to make things better? If you have, know that I have been there too, and know that sometimes you have to make some big changes in your homeschool in order to be successful and in order to keep going with the homeschool lifestyle. In today's video, I'm going to talk about one big change that I made in my homeschool that completely changed everything about how I homeschool, yet it made a world of difference and brought a ton of peace into our homeschool that just had not been there for a while. Welcome to my channel. My name is Joni and I am the mom behind simplelivingmama.com, where we help moms simplify life, home, and homeschool. Today I'm going to share with you guys a personal story about how I changed my homeschool. So just a little bit of background if you were new to the channel. I am a homeschool mom of 7. I've been doing this for 12 years now. So I've been through a lot. We've had to definitely make some big adjustments in order to keep going with our homeschool and for our homeschool to be successful. One of the things that I struggle with the most, and still at times struggle with it, is having peace in my homeschool. Managing a larger group of children who are siblings can be chaotic, and it can be crazy and anything but peaceful. So I had to dramatically change how I homeschooled my kids in order to bring peace to our days. And I'm gonna tell you guys what I did. So are you ready for this? It's not revolutionary. I switched our curriculum from a family style curriculum to a more Charlotte Mason based curriculum where most of my kids are working independently for almost all of their subjects. And you guys, it made a world of difference. So when I started homeschooling, I specifically chose a family style curriculum. We started with My Father's World, which has a lot of Charlotte Mason elements in it, right? But it's also very unit study based, and I chose it specifically because it's family style, and it is designed to work with kids from like 2nd grade up to 8th grade. That's a very broad range of ages, okay? So when I started homeschooling, I started with a kindergartner, quickly added on another child, and then another child, then another child, and I loved My Father's World. I really did. Even though we became Catholic converts, I still kept using My Father's World for probably, I think, 1 or 2 years after that happened. So, you know, I really loved the curriculum. But what I found was I had a child who, my oldest son, was 7th, 8th grade age. And then I had all these other kids below him, 6 other kids below him, ranging in age from baby all the way up to, my daughter would have been in like 5th grade, 6th grade, something like that. And our days were chaos. Our days were chaos. I had this beautiful vision in my head of a 1-room schoolhouse where all of my kids were gathered around the table, peacefully listening to me read all of these books, because once you get up into the higher courses of My Father's World, you're doing a lot more reading aloud. And I thought, I wanted it to work. I wanted it to work so much. And it did work for a while. But like I said, once I had this huge range of ages that I was trying to teach, it was no longer working. I was constantly dealing with interruptions from the baby / toddler, plus the child who was just a little bit older than her. And then I have 2 boys right in the middle, okay? And if you have boys, you probably know what I mean. They are constantly going after each other about something. If they're not fighting with each other, then they're joking around with each other. And that's what I was dealing with. And my oldest kids are just looking at me and they're like, they want me to keep reading. They want to keep learning all of these wonderful things that I'm trying to teach them, but they can't. They can't because my younger kids are going buck wild crazy, and I'm constantly having to stop what I'm doing and put out these fires and discipline people and try to get everybody on track. And you know, maybe your kids are different. Maybe you have a better handle on them and they behave a little bit better. Maybe you have a bunch of girls and they can sit peacefully together and listen and do things. I don't know, everybody's household is different, but I knew that some things really had to change. One, of course, we needed to work on habits and discipline and all of that stuff. Two, I didn't want to completely ruin my older kids' education while I was trying to do these things with the younger kids who needed, you know, more attention with these habits and these different things like that. So that's when I completely just said, we're done. We're done with the family style curriculum for the most part. And I'm giving everybody their own books and their own assignments and their own things to do. And it's gone so much better. Now my oldest son is getting ready to start 11th grade, and we have discussions, and I've asked him, I said, do you prefer to homeschool like this, or do you prefer to homeschool with the group? And each of them will tell me, I prefer to homeschool like this. Now, with that said, we still have a morning time in which everybody gathers together and we do the riches. So we do our hymn, we do our folk song, we do our artist study, composer study, we do some poetry together, we do our prayer together. Next year we're going to be working on a catechism together. So that's going to, hopefully the work that we've been doing with the habits and the discipline will help. So that's going to require a little bit more listening. And we do current events together. So we always start our day together as a family, doing the riches together. Very simply, oh, we do Shakespeare together too. But you didn't think that we could pull that off. But yeah, we do Shakespeare together too. So we start our day like that. But then the kids will separate for their studies. And there is an exception to that rule. I have two children. They're not the boys. I have a boy and a girl who are only a year apart. And I do work with them together as of right now. They just finished 3rd and 4th grade. They will be starting 4th and 5th grade soon. And I haven't decided if I'm ready to give them their own books yet, because I'm not sure that they're ready for that heavy load of reading without mom helping them. But last year they still needed me to read aloud to them for a lot of their subjects. So I just grouped them together and I was able to do their readings together and then separate them for you know, math, language arts, and all of that other stuff that we do separately. So family style curriculum can work really well when your kids are close in age. And maybe if you don't have so many of them, I don't know. But I do feel like there comes a time when kids need to be working more independently, and that takes some strain off of mom, and that allows them to really take control of their own education. So that is what we did. Now, so I will work with that set that I talked about that still needed me to read aloud with them. And then I will work with my younger son. And then of course I have, I'm going to do a whole series on how I do preschool at home, but I will do different little things with my preschooler now, completely independently as well. So it divides me up a little bit more, but I feel like the kids are getting a much higher quality education because there's not so much friction and chaos and class clowns playing off of each other, which is, I had a lot of that going on in my little one-room schoolhouse. And sometimes you gotta cut it out. You gotta be like, we're not doing this anymore. So yeah, that was my one big major change. If you are a large family mom like me and you're struggling with that, which, you know, I feel like people who are online talking about homeschooling don't necessarily talk about the struggles that much, but they're there. Everybody has struggles. So, you know, you might try breaking them up a little bit. And, you know, with the Charlotte Mason method, you are really supposed to do that anyway. Once your children are old enough to read and comprehend on their own, that's what they're supposed to do, and it becomes their own education. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope you got something out of it. If you did, please give us a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I love posting homeschool content. I love posting about what I like, what I don't like, what I've struggled with. I hope that I can be relatable to you. Something else I want to talk to you about is I do have a blog, and I have a lot of different things available on the blog. Specifically, I have a free printable planning pack. It includes a beautiful calendar at a glance that so many moms have downloaded and loved. It also has a homeschool expense tracker as well as an attendance tracker, and you can download that completely for free down in the description box below. And I will see you guys in the next video.